We're back with Asian Esports event organizer VSPO, who have announced a new multi-game genre tournament, the Esports Asian Champions League. Prince Faisal bin Bandar bin Sultan Al Saud, the chairman of the Saudi Esports Federation and the president of the International Esports Federation, attended the announcement ceremony and spoke with Sports Scene's Greg Laffradi.
Your Royal Highness, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. A very busy schedule, I know, as esports and gaming is just exploding. And we're here, of course, at the launch ceremony, the announcement of the Asian Champions League. Can you tell us a bit about that and what features stand out to you about this and what is going to benefit esports?
Well, first of all, it's always a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you for having me with you again. And it's good to see you in person. Now, what stands out about the Asian Champions League? With esports, so many tournaments are either online or offline. And the innovation here is how do we bring those two worlds together and start to bring together a region that, quite frankly, is the most advanced esports-wise in the world. Some of the best players in the world. And yet each has their own local leagues. And then you have international leagues. And how do you start to fill that gap in between and get people playing more? So the innovation they have here with doing everything online, having the online arenas, the VR and the AR and the XR, and really bridging that gap to, in the middle of a season, while everything is going on, while everyone has their local leagues, to be able to bring national teams together and bring that fan experience together and enhance that by not just simply watching online, but actually being a part of an online arena, an online world. I think is not just innovative, but it is a step towards the future of this as an industry.
Well, you mentioned already that just this region, obviously, it's the world leader. We're talking about Asia, too, not a small region.
No.
It's the world leader in the growth and development of esports. Why is that? Why has this continent risen to the top?
A lot of the governments in this region were very early takers to back this as an industry. Everything happening in China with Tencent, VSPO, that's been going on for a long time. Indonesia and some of the sports that they have, whether it be MLBB, the Philippines and MLBB and some other games. The growth of mobile games in this region, just the sheer amount of people in this region, and young people at that. I mean, it's like the perfect storm when you come to this as an industry. And then to be able to innovate and bring together something like this where you can bring those best teams, where you can have, in the middle of a season, you can have Japan versus Indonesia, and have these players play together not just in their local leagues but internationally at the drop of a hat, I think is something that I know we're looking forward to bringing to the Middle East sometime soon. We want to make sure to see how it works first and learn. But being a part of this from the ground up with our partners at VSPO and with our partners in Asia, I think is a good start.
Now, you are the president of the International Esports Federation. Will the ACL fall under that as a governing body? What sort of structure is in the overall scheme of global esports?
Right now, the key was to have it begin as an entity and build its own brand. We will have collaborations, whether it's with the IESF, which I'm president of. They announced an agreement with the GEF, Global Esports Federation, with the IOC. But right now, those wouldn't be governing bodies over this. This would be its own entity. And then as it grows in its IP, then we can work on those collaborations.
Collaboration is the key word in my next question, really. Last year, the Savvy Games Group that you manage invested $265 million in Shanghai esports company VSPO. Can you tell us a bit more about this collaboration, what you hope to learn from each other?
Well, what we're building with our collaborations, with our investments, is an understanding of what we don't have is the experience. We are new into the game of esports and gaming in Saudi. But what we have is an outlook and a support from a government to a community level all the way down that is unique in this industry, in this world. And how can we use those two things to really build off of each other and create something where 1 + 1 = 5, not 2. We have an outlook in everything that we've done at Savvy where we're saying, let's first of all not be coy. This is a for-profit company. We're not looking to lose money. However, we are not looking for profit after year one. We're not looking for quarterly earnings, and what we're looking for is how can we work with partners and collaborate to create a long-term position that becomes a strong position.
You mentioned also the reason that Asia has risen to the forefront of the esports industry is the support from governments. So how can esports enhance the ties between Saudi Arabia and China?
On many levels. I mean, esports is one of those things that really bridges different gaps. It's a sport, so it brings together ministries of sport, it brings together athletes, brings together at events like the Asian Games and the Olympics and things like that. It's also a fan engagement, which means tourism. So when we host events like the Esports World Cup, we had a huge number of Chinese fans come to watch the Chinese teams play. We had over 100,000 Chinese tourists visit Saudi this last year in 2023, and we look to increase those numbers. We had 30,000 Saudis visit China last year. We look to increase those numbers. But how do you do that? You have to create an interest. You have to create a spark. What's that first visit? So a lot of these young men and women that came to visit Saudi for esports, maybe they saw something that looked interesting. Maybe next year when they come back, they'll come back not just for the esports, but go visit Al-Ula or go visit Jeddah. Maybe they'll come to an esports event that we're doing in a different city, in a different area. The Saudis that met these young Chinese men and women in Saudi are now maybe more interested to come and visit China. And maybe not just the large cities like Beijing and Shanghai, but maybe some of the other places around. In my travels with esports, I've been to Chongqing, I've been to so many places, Hangzhou, and the ability to then bridge that gap person to person is unique in esports.
Now, there have been a few major milestones in just the last year in esports. In 2023, the Hangzhou Asian Games, esports were an actual medal event. This summer, of course, we had the very first Esports World Cup. It just ended on August 25th, taking place in Riyadh. When we last spoke, I think it was just after week one of it. I know you were very excited, and it just continued throughout. Please tell us about the Esports World Cup, the success, your overall assessment of it. How was it?
It was brilliant. I always tell people, whenever we have an event, everyone always asks me at the end of an event, are you happy? And I always say happy is a difficult word for me. Happy means that everything we planned to do, everything we thought we should do, everything happened without a hitch. However, having said that, there is so much more we can improve on. From the experience, I try to make an effort throughout the tournament and after every championship to speak to the players. Get some of their points of view. What can we do better? What can enhance your experience next year? It can be something as little as the food backstage, to the training areas, to maybe they need a little bit more time to train. Maybe they need to come in a little bit earlier, spend a little bit more time adjusting to the time difference. I mean, there's so many different things. Stage setup, that there was something that maybe we could do a little bit better. Maybe it could be a little bit more streamlined next year. The way the fans come in and out. There's so many different aspects that we can improve. But to have something be a success and yet still have things you can improve on, I think is a good place to be rather than a bad place to be.
Well, they're certainly lucky to have you. I mean, your enthusiasm, your eloquence on the subject, and your hands-on approach. Very few international federation presidents are taking part in asking their players this and that. So somebody like you behind this, Your Royal Highness, thank you so much. I know this is all going to be a great success.
For me, I am a player and a fan as well. So being a part of this is a pleasure for me. But again, thank you for having me. And it's always a pleasure to sit down with you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.